Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. It's Camille Prosperity out of Savannah, Georgia. Super duper proud of myself because I am on time. Look at me, look at me. I'm a big kid now. Hey. Let me just make sure my audio is doing okay in my ear as you guys come in, replay and live viewers. Okay, it is. And now let me turn it down. But replay viewers, live viewers, I want you to tell me where you are watching from, city, state, and if you are like if you've been here before, you know how we roll. I want you to drop your district, say your circuit. Drop your district, say your circuit. And how was y'all's day? Stay focused. What's going on? Hey, how has everything been? Guys, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about tonight's topic. We're going to be reviewing the YSL Young Thug trial. This is the first week. We have been waiting for this, y'all, for what? A year, basically. It was crazy in the pre-trial, right? We went from almost 30 defendants in this RICO case to now, what is it, about 6? And let me just go ahead and give the disclaimer. I'm a country girl in a country town just talking. This is strictly for entertainment purposes. I'm not a lawyer, paralegal, nothing legal. I'm just giving commentary, no different than how some YouTubers give commentary on reality shows. But to me, the best reality is real life, not staged reality. And so that's what we're seeing play out here in the YSL Young Thug trial. But before we get into that, I have to thank you guys again because recently this channel crossed over 40K subscribers. And if you have subscribed, if you have shared my video, if you have interacted with me, I just want to say thank you so much. I know I'm not the most consistent. So for my channel and my videos to not just be completely buried in the algorithm is such a blessing. And if you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. It is completely free. All right. It's free 99 and it really helps the, hold on, where is the thing at? It really helps this video be shown more, and we want more good stuff on these platforms versus foolishness. We're gonna have a good time tonight, and if you have been following the trial, hopefully I can give you some insight and think about things that you haven't thought about previously. If you have not been following the trial, hopefully I can catch you up. Now let me do this too in honor of us hitting 40K. Let me see if I can find it where it was before. I want to shout out some of the newest subscribers. Let me see if I can find it where it was. Is this it? Dang it. Now I should have had this already up because you know how you see something somewhere and then you go back to find it and you can't? Completely sucks. Dang it. Hold on one second. Just give me a minute here. And in the meantime, in between time, y'all tell me, have you been watching the trial? If you know, you know. It's a lot of hours. This is a real trial. This is not, Law and Order SUV. This is real. So you get the highlight reels in the news, but the day-to-day part of it is, I'm not going to say pretty boring, but it has to be set up. Things have to be set up a certain way. There's a lot of formalities in court. So that's what we're seeing here. Let me see if I can find it on here, y'all, right quick. Just bear with me. And like I said, in the meantime, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know, have you been watching the trial? I want y'all to interact with me today because there's a lot that you can learn by watching these court cases and seeing how things play out. And a lot of this is stuff that I have discussed on this channel previously. So yeah, I'm pulling up my Chromebook to see if I might have to do it at the end. Oh yes, here we go. It's easier on my desktop. All right, so just really quick, I wanted to shout out some of the channel's recent subscribers. Again, we just hit 40K, so we're on the road now to 50K. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Like the video, share the video. Let me see. I want to shout out, is it Setsy? TSETSI. She just subscribed in October. Braylon Lee subscribed beginning of November. Who's this? Adventure with Zay, Danny Harris, S. Renau, Mr. DIY Yourself Channel, Swavy Gang TV, Coco Divine, Deuce Jane, and Robert M. Thank you guys for subscribing recently. You are part of the reason why this channel just crossed over 40K. Again, we're on the way to 50K. So thank you so much. Also, hit that like button. And if you want to drop a super chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Our last video was very interesting. We talked about how and why the government can take your kids. There was a lot of interaction on there. And so many of you had so much to say about some of the things that I shared that you had no idea about. Unfortunately, though, that video was demonetized. Netflix took my money because I used a trailer. I didn't even realize the trailer was playing, guys, for one of the shows that I recommended, but it was playing and Netflix took my money. So again, anytime you guys donate with super chats or cash apps, it's greatly appreciated because not every single video will make money on the channel. It's not what I do it for, but let's be real. Life ain't free. So, hey, and time is not either. So let's get into it. We are going to start with a disclaimer, the whole fair use thing. Hopefully that will, and I will tell y'all this now. I did actually prepare for, I prepared for this, y'all. I'm not going to be using any clips from the trial because, again, I don't want this to be completely demonetized, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to just, let me see. No, that's not what I want. I want to, okay, this is, okay. All right. Okay, whatever. We're just going to go with what we got. I don't see how I can do it in the presentation mode. There it goes. There it goes. All right, so let's see what we got here. Here's my disclaimer. Basically, anything that I say in this video is for entertainment personal purposes only. It's protected under the Copyright Act of 1976, fair use, all that good stuff. So hopefully that protects me, guys. Now what we are going to do is get right into it. Actually, let's do a little bit of a Have y'all been watching the trial? It's very interesting. They did not have court today, I don't think. I think they kind of took a little bit of a break. And I just always have to make sure that I'm caught up. Okay, cool. So I think they took a little bit of a break today. They're going to come back on Monday, though. But this trial, in case you guys do not know, Young Thug is a rapper, and he had that very popular song. It's a little bit bottom down, the lines down. Yeah. I can't even sing the song for too long before YouTube will demonetize me. But basically, that's how I was introduced to him. And since then, he has collaborated with a lot of artists, came from, very, very poor beginnings in Atlanta and world renowned. Like, he's worth more money probably than everybody in that courtroom combined right now, the very people who are deciding his fate. But, that money comes fast, and he's using a lot of that money right now for this trial. Like I said, he is accused of being involved in some schmang activity. Guys, I'm going to have to disguise a lot of words I can't say because YouTube censors. So I will be saying words that rhyme with words, and hopefully you get what I mean. but he is accused of being a schmang leader, and responsible for a lot of crimes in the cities. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about the characters. I'm going to call them the characters involved in the situation, because to me, it's kind of like a play. I've said this before. When you go to court, it is an orchestrated play. And a lot of time, everybody knows their lines but you, because you're not that well versed in court stuff. But trust me, the court, the judge, the prosecutor, the defense attorneys, all of these people, a lot of them have gone to the same schools before. They know each other. They go to the same conferences. And in a certain county, area, territory, you're going to see the same people over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Just like you probably know in your town, there's a handful of top doctors or a handful of top lawyers or top whatever. And you're going to see those same people over and over again. The person that you go to might be the person that your neighbor goes to. That's just how it works. And trust me, the top people know their competitors and vice versa. After this Young Thug, well, before this Young Thug trial, these same lawyers were before this judge for other things. The judge has even said it. He said it to one of the co-defendants. Hey, I know your lawyer. She's good. I've seen her before. She's a good lawyer, so you might want to listen to her. Right? These people have been working together before your case, and they're still going to be working together after your case. So it's very important that you understand this, because when you go to court, oftentimes it's your first foray and hopefully your only one. But excuse me, but you need to know and understand that in this play, the players have played together before. So that means if your lawyer has pissed off the judge previously in another case, that could adversely have an effect on you, and it has nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing to do with you. So you need to be aware of these types of things. You need to research and learn, and just be aware. Okay, let me see something that's quick. Where y'all at? It's interesting switching back and forth with StreamYard on this. So yeah, that is the situation. Let's go back to me. Just we're going to share this screen now, and let's get into the actual players. Okay. Yeah, that's the one I want. All right, so I put this together for y'all. I put this together for you all. Who are the characters in the Young Thug trial, right? So we of course have Young Thug, and he is not the only defendant, guys. He is just the main one. This is the big fish. This is who the state is really trying to go after in this case. But there are other co-defendants. I just didn't want to make this super duper long, because if we went through all of the other co-defendants, they're just filler characters. Okay. But the main person that the state is trying to capture and get is Young Thug. Now, who is the judge? The judge is Ural Glanville, I believe his name is. And let me tell you something that's very interesting about okay, why is it oh, that's interesting. So it's not pulling up like that. Okay, that's cool. I got back up. I hope this doesn't freeze up. But yeah, the judge in this case, in case you guys do not know, once you find out who your judge is, you can always research them. You can find out a lot of things about them. Remember, all of these people are supposedly public servants. So their information has to be published. Okay. So it's really not too bad. All you have to do is a Google search of the name, and you can find out a whole lot. Oh man, I clicked off of that. Make YouTube and y'all happy. So bear with me. So let's take a look right quick and find out a little bit about Judge Glanville. Okay, shall we? Again, all you have to do is just put the name in the Google, handy dandy Googler, and then it's going to pull it right up. So with Judge Glanville, we see right here a long history of being in Atlanta and Fulton County Court. And this stuff is important, guys. Sometimes you want to find out how much your attorney knows about the judge, how many cases they've done with them, what is their rapport, do they have a handle on the judge's temperament. This we see right here. Okay, so Judge Glanville is actually, he went to UGA for undergrad and grad school. So he's what they call a double dog. But they have a lot of stuff right here to tell you about. He's an adjunct professor at Georgia State. That just gives you a little bit of an idea about how he rolls, so to speak. So I encourage you, if you ever go to court, look up your judge, find out a little bit about their bio, their history, as much intel as you can possibly get. Now, he's getting a lot of heat in this trial because he's been very interesting. Usually judges, if they find you in contempt of court, they will order you to pay a fine or serve time in jail. Judge Glanville has actually found a number of people in contempt of court in this proceeding. Everybody from jurors, okay, to actually lawyers. And his penalty for doing that in the pretrial area has been everything much. And that was unprecedented. People were like, wait, what? He has ordered a juror to write a 30-page essay, 30 pages, APA, all of this stuff that this woman had to do. And it was because, but he also had a lawyer. A lawyer was to write a 17-page essay on professionalism in the court. Again, super duper weird, very unconventional. So he's making headlines for a number of things. But this is Judge Glanville. Okay, so that's the person who is presiding over the proceedings. Now, who do we have on the state side? On the state side, hold on one second. Hey, I just started my live at 6:05. I'll call you back. Yeah, I'm on right now. So on the state side, now we have Fani. Now this is who everybody has seen in the news. This is the Fulton County DA, Miss Fani Willis. Now she, surprisingly enough, used to be a defense attorney, but now she's a district attorney. So people find that ironic that she used to represent the innocent until proven guilty, and now she's a part of the team that is. Hold on one second. Did it time out? Okay, there we go. And so now she's a part of the team that is trying to put them away. And it is interesting, very much so. So a lot of people thought that she was going to be the star player initially, but I don't know. I just started watching this week. It was too much in pretrial, but so far this week, we have not seen Miss Fani Willis. The person that we have seen representing the prosecution, representing the state, has been Fulton County Chief Deputy District Attorney Adriane Love. So Attorney Love has been the star for the state as of this week, the first week of being in trial. She is the one who has made the opening statement. She is the one who is doing all of the talking primarily. She has a heavy weight on her shoulders because there's been such a build up. There's been such a build up for this case to come to trial. It's been so long. Thug has been denied bond numerous times by Judge Glanville and other judges. So it is incumbent upon her to get this job to get this job done. Fani feels like I deliver him to you on a platter. Now go ahead and serve him up, pretty much. And so it's very interesting. And I'll say this too. It's very interesting to see these proceedings play out in court on live TV. You know, with the evolution of technology, we now have access to be inside the courts, to live stream, and the commentary, guys. Wow. I cannot imagine doing my job and having the whole world watching and critique me from the very top of my head to the bottom of my feet. It is a lot, and it is very, very interesting. So if you have time and you jump on one of these lives, sometimes you can find all types of people in the comments, regular people who are cracking jokes, people who are Young Thug fans, people who clearly have a legal background and can give you some insight as to why things are happening the way they're happening. I strongly advise you to jump on one day and then just like ride the wave, because it's super interesting. Now on the defense team over here, and these are not all of the lawyers, because remember, we had like 30 people initially in this RICO case, and it's dwindled down to only 6. I believe it's 6, including Young Thug. So a lot of people have already taken plea deals. We've heard about that in the news, but I just wanted to highlight some of the people who really, really, really stood out for me this week on the defense team, from what I know. So we're going to get into the characters for the defense. Now, this is attorney Brian Steele. He's representing Young Thug. Now, this gentleman right here, very well known in Georgia, multi-millionaire for his work in law. He has over a decade's worth of experience representing Young Thug. So he refers to him as Jeffrey, knows the whole family, has represented him before. I heard that he's been in one of Young Thug's videos. I haven't seen that. I don't watch videos anymore. I haven't seen that, and I didn't look it up. But Brian Steele is no joke, okay? And he's not here to play. So I'll tell you some more about what happened this week, but just so that you know, that is the main one representing Young Thug. Now, this gentleman right here is actually representing one of the co-defendants, Quamarvious Nichols. But this is a heavy hitter too. This is attorney Bruce Harvey. Now, Bruce Harvey, he has, you can't really see right here, but he has a long rat tail braid. And for the longest time, he was the top, like, defense attorney. He's kind of sort of passed the torch, so to speak, to Brian Steele, but he's a heavy hitter. Excuse me. Very well known in the courts, very well known in Georgia, and people have a lot of respect for him. I have not heard him speak. If he spoke, I missed it. I'm anxiously awaiting that. But again, he doesn't play as well. Now, this gentleman, I'll tell you a little bit more about him, but this is Jay. I think you pronounce that last name Abbott. I'm not sure, but he's representing Gotti. I don't know who that is. This is, y'all, this is out of my age group. So if you know who that is, but this was one of the, I'll tell you more about this character later. And the public defender, Angela D. Williams, she definitely stood out for me. You'll see why when I get into a little bit more of the backstory of what's been going on this week and catch you up. She's representing Rodalius Ryan. Remember, a public defender is somebody who is assigned to you because basically you cannot afford a lawyer on your own, and everybody has a right to due process, and that will definitely include, excuse me, you having some representation and a mouthpiece that knows the lay of the land. So these are all of the people that stuck out to me for the defense this week. This is a judge, again, Young Thug, and the prosecution, the state. Fani is just on here because she was the most recognizable figure before all of this really went down. But now for the state, it is Attorney Love. Okay, let me check in with y'all and just make sure y'all are good. Okay, awesome sauce. Again, if you just joined us, I see some people jumped on. Go ahead and hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it's completely free. We just hit 40K on the road to 50K. Let me know, have you been watching the trial? Have you been watching the trial at all? And what are your thoughts? Interact with me. Remember, I feed off of your energy. So now I'm going to catch y'all up. Let me do this. I'm going to pull this over here. I know y'all can't see me. but it'll be easier for me to see it over here. So now I'm going to catch y'all up. Again, we're not talking about pretrial stuff here. We're really just going to talk about what happened this week in the actual first week of the trial. This has been so long awaited, guys. There have been jurors who have been replaced, who have dropped out. There have been the co-defendants who have taken plea deals. This trial has had so many ups and downs. And quite frankly, a lot of people were calling it a circus before it even started. But this week right here, oh my gosh, y'all. Again, who needs reality TV when real life is so much more entertaining? And I hate to say that because this is somebody's life, but there are many, many layers to this case, guys. So let me just tell y'all right quick. Let me see. I'm going to go here. Ooh. Let me see something. All right. So in case you do not know, guys, when you do a trial, it's a flow to it. Again, I call them characters because this is more like a play. And there's a flow, there's a rhythm, there's a sequence of events. You're going to have opening statements, then you're going to have like testimonies and cross-examinations and closing statements. That is me just really dumbing down the process, okay? Now, here's the thing with this week. When we opened, day one, they got started an hour late because one of the jurors had car problems and everybody's sitting there waiting, anxiously awaiting, and they finally start an hour late. Now, once they start, Attorney Love here goes to do her opening statement. This is where you basically lay out a roadmap for the jury. And this is what I want all of us common folk, all of us laymen to understand. When you present a case, you're not doing this for the judge. You're doing this for the jury. So you will notice when they're doing opening statements, they are turned toward the jury. We see this in movies, but we really don't pay attention to it. We think the judge is like, dum, 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 but the judge is really a referee. And I want you to understand that. And the more you watch court cases, the more you will see that play out. The judge is really just to make sure that everybody stays within, the rules, that things are fair, and he calls like penalties if they're not. It is no different than if you go to a basketball game and if you've ever seen a referee and you're like, what is the referee looking at? It depends on the judge how things will go, just like it depends on the referee. Sometimes you if you've been to enough high school basketball games, this referee is fair, or you might feel like this referee has a bias toward this particular school or that particular school or whatever the case. It seems like they're being paid off because they're only calling whatever the case may be. A lot of people feel like in this case the judge is really having the prosecution's back, the state's back, more so than what he should. And if you think about it, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but if you think about it, it would make sense because there's been so much of a buildup on this case about, oh yeah, Fani is like, we shutting them down. They just know if you come here, we gonna cook you, blah, 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 talking mad stuff, okay? And so Atlanta has had a lot of crime, a lot of an uptick in crime in recent years. And if you live in Atlanta, and I used to, but if you live in Atlanta and you feel like the car break-ins and all of this stuff is going on and senseless schmootings, you guys catch my drift, and all of these things are happening, you want somebody to pay. So the judge right here may feel like, hey, I have to get these people off the street. I have to help the state get these people off the street. However, that's not supposed to be his role. He is supposed to be an unbiased arbitrator. But a lot of things you will see, especially if you watch the case, he clearly is not. So for example, in opening statements, right? Attorney Love comes up there and she's Again, I can't imagine doing her job in front of the whole entire world on camera on YouTube. But she comes up there, she starts with a poem, and then she gets into our presentation. Now, something happened that is very rare to happen, and that is the defense, Mr. Steele, did an objection. Objection, y'all. Usually in an opening statement, you don't want to stop an attorney's flow, but he did. And he said, hey, Your Honor, and the jury had to leave. He brought up his objection not in the presence of everybody because he didn't want to sway them. And so basically, Attorney Steele brought it to the judge's attention. Listen, excuse me, because they had a presentation just like I have somewhat of a presentation for you right now. They had slides. And so Attorney Steele said, Judge, she's talking and showing stuff that were not submitted in the slides that she sent to me, because each side had to send a copy of what they were going to present to the other side, okay? And they had to send a copy to the judge. So this is no different than how we talk on this channel about putting people on notice. You can't be a jack in the box. While the surprise factor might seem very sexy, it's just not copacetic, okay? You have to put somebody on notice. And what this does when you send your opposing counsel the opening statements is it puts them on notice about what you're going to say, so that if anything is out of pocket, they can go ahead and say, no, you're presenting this as fact when it hasn't been proven as such, or no, I have a problem with you presenting that. Now, does it show your hand and give them a chance to rebut what you're going to say? Yes, but that's just you have to pay to play. That's just how it works. So when Steele sees Love up here presenting information that he was not privy to, that he did not know would be presented, and more importantly, that he doesn't agree with, that was why the objection was raised. So then Love goes, well, I didn't know how I had to present everything. And this is where I kind of wrinkle my brow, like, what? She says something like, I thought I was only presenting the images in my presentation, not the wording. Or it was something that honestly did not make sense. And basically Steele said to the judge, listen, I presented everything. She presented a portion. This makes me uneasy. I don't feel like this is fair to my client. And let me see here. I just took a break and I see, hey, in the wind, Williams, you said your son has been keeping up with the trial. Oh, interesting. I'm just curious. How old is your son? You should watch it with him for sure. Again, this is the best. It can be boring at some spaces, but trust me, you'll learn a lot. Stay focused. At how many days are we into the trial? This is just the first week of the actual trial, but this whole buildup has been going on now for what? Basically a year. And it's projected that this case will probably take another year. Do y'all know how many witnesses the state is claiming they have? I want y'all to guess. How many witnesses do you guess the state is saying? And everybody is like, this cannot be true. It's got to be a lie. But I want you to tell me, how many witnesses do you think the state has? Let me put that in the chat. Very, very interesting. I'm happy that your son is 37. Yeah, you should definitely watch with him. Is he a YSL fan? I wonder, is he a YSL fan in the Wynn Williams? How many? I think the state has. So we're going to go back to the recap now. So Steele is like, Your Honor, what the heck? And so the judge says, listen, Love, I don't know where you got that you only had to send the images, but no, you were supposed to send the whole thing. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and I want you to revise your presentation and send it over to Steele. Now, let me tell you this, though. Steele's so cold. Once he saw that she was presenting on something that he was not privy to when he should have been, something that was not set in advance, he motioned for a mistrial. And when I heard that, my ears perked up like off the rip. And oftentimes, guys, In case you do not know, attorneys will do this. This is why you pay your attorney, because at any curve or slip or turn, they're trying to get the case thrown out. So if you've ever taken somebody to court, especially like a credit card company, you might say, hey, they don't have a right to take me to court because they're not a credit card company, a debt collection company. You might say they don't have a right to sue me because they're a debt collection company, not the credit card company. They're a third party that I never contracted with. That credit card company is automatically going to respond to you and say, motion for summary judgment. Judge, we have proof that they owe it. Don't be swayed by these motions for summary judgment. Summary judgment, which basically means, judge, this thing is so like black and white that we don't even have to go through the hassle of a trial. Just say we won and let's get on with the business, right? That's what summary judgment is. And a lot of times people will get rattled when they see that the other side is filing a motion in response to their motion. But again, the more you get in your head that this is a play, this is a dance, this is how they do, you'll understand it's nothing to be worried about. They're really just quote unquote doing their job. As long as you have a case, though, the judge is going to deny the motion for summary judgment and things are going to go on. And that's exactly what happened here. Steele said, hey, I want to go ahead and call a mistrial. And the judge actually said, no, we are literally on day one of a trial. He didn't say all of this, but I'm telling you that this is basically the thought process. The judge said no. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. We're going to give her an opportunity to revise all her slides and send you a copy. And then we're going to come back and continue. So that's what happens, folks. Fast forward. We come back. We reconvene. She starts to present again. Y'all, do y'all know Steele is like, objection? Again, remember, this is not commonplace to do in the opening statements. So Steele says, objection. There's still stuff on here. Steele says, we didn't get the slides. So she goes, well, I revised them and it updates automatically. And he says, well, we didn't know it was going to be updated on the link that you already sent. We thought there was going to be another email sent. And I can see why he would think that. But like right now, I'm in Canva. If I had shared my Canva link to this presentation with anyone, I would never need to send them another link. I would just make any changes to the slide and it would automatically update and refresh on their end when they click the link. So that's what the prosecution, the state, was saying. And I'm thinking that they were using a program like that. However, the defense was thinking there was going to be an email sent to them to say, hey, here's version 2 of my slides. And so when that did not happen, the defense was thinking, oh, they didn't send it. When in reality, there was nothing to be sent. They just had to click the first original link. Well, y'all, this put the judge in a tizzy. Oh, baby. He was pissed. He was like, why are y'all not listening? Where are y'all getting this stuff from? Y'all are just doing y'all's own thing. If they sent it and you didn't know they sent it, that's not on them. Now that's on you. And so there was an exchange here, y'all. And keep in mind, this is day one at the very beginning of trial. So there was an exchange there to the point where the judge just said, you know what? Don't nobody use slides. And man, when I tell you I had a flashback, that reminded me of when, if you have siblings, you know, your sibling can break something and your parents come in and say, who did it? And you're like, they did it. Well, I was chasing you, but you're actually the one who did it. And now your parent be like, don't nobody get dessert. And you're like, really? It was my little brother who did it, not me. Why am I being penalized? It's just like when you were in class and one person talking made the whole class lose recess. Steele was not having it. That really set him off. He was like, listen, judge, this all started because of her. We submitted our slides ahead of time. We did everything right. Our opening statements are based on slides. This is a very intense case. We got a lot of points to cover. We can't just do this off the dome. Of course, these are just my words, right? So Steele wasn't having it. And so the judge backed down and said, fine, let's go ahead, try this again. Miss Lady, what? And they literally, y'all, were sitting in court. This lady, public defender Angela Williams, was saying, hey, on this particular part of her presentation, she misquoted this and She said, no, I didn't. She said, yes, you did. And she said, I took it straight from social media. And the lady had to say, no, social media says this, but you had that. And she was like, oh, you're right, my bad. And I'm just sitting there like, oh. And it really just goes to show, guys, again, I think you should be watching this stuff because in our minds, we think like doctors and lawyers are like these people that can do no wrong. But you really need to understand that these people, just like everybody else, went to school. All of them didn't get A's. All of them weren't rock stars. All of them weren't superstars. Maybe some of these people just barely passed the bar. Okay. And I think when you watch stuff like this consistently, you come to realize they really just people too. They be effing up too. They be fudging up too. They be not knowing what's going on too, just like you. And it'll really help you to level the playing field so that when, not if, but when you come in contact with a court system, with a lawyer, you'll be able to assert yourself more because they really are just flesh, skin, and bones, just like us. All right. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a text message. All right, distractions. Good distractions though. So yeah, I see some comments coming in on my phone. So let me see this. Okay, so yeah, you said your son is a Young Thug fan. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, wow, I have been missing out by not watching the trial. You really have. You really have. And if y'all don't want to watch the trial, at least watch the recaps, because the recaps will go ahead and get straight to the nitty-gritty. They'll show you the highlights and really break them down for you so that you can at least stay abreast of where we're at. Okay, so going back, once and Angela is funny. So let me tell y'all right quick. You know what? I'll wait until I actually get into her opening statement. Don't worry about it. So yeah, Attorney Love is like, okay, my bad. You're right, and you're right. And she fixes the problem. And then the judge is really upset because y'all, judges hate to keep jurors waiting. I think at this point they have been waiting for maybe an hour or two. So imagine you're a juror. You have taken out of your regular schmegular life. You can't work. You only getting paid by the court. I think it's only $25 a day they get paid. You can't miss a day. You can't be on social media. You have so many restrictions on your regular life. And instead of the trial proceeding, they got you in the back just waiting. And you don't know how long you're waiting. That makes a juror antsy. That makes them impatient. That makes them a little irritated, right? And judges know this. So they want to keep the flow. They want to keep things going. Remember, jurors are not legal people. This is supposed to be a jury of your peers. So they be ready to go. All right. So the judge doesn't want to do anything to delay, draw out, frustrate the jurors, because he knows they're going to be doing this for probably 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, for the next year. So coming out the gate, why are we having all this confusion? Right? And it was very interesting to watch, very interesting to see. You can still go back to day one and see that exchange, because I'm telling you, it was entertaining. And I hate to say that because, again, this is somebody's life in the balance, but it was entertaining. So anyway, another thing about Love doing her opening statement, I found it very interesting that when she, of course, we're talking about rap lyrics. That has been a big issue. Like, should we admit rap lyrics? They determined long ago that rap lyrics would be admitted. So Attorney Love got in her bag, honey. When she was spitting them rap lyrics, she did not blank out the curse words. She was like something my sis, and the Glock with the assist and dot. Everybody was commenting on her rap flow. They're like, hold up. How many times did she listen to this? And was she only listening to this for court purposes? Because she kind of got game. She could be a part of YSL. That's a bad joke. But yeah, she was spitting, and that's not something that you see in everyday court. So that was entertaining to witness. Anyway, when she gets done, now we get to the opening statements for the defense. Now, Attorney Steele got up there. One thing that's very interesting about him, he's super polished, definitely experienced. He was one of the few attorneys that did his entire opening statement, pretty much top of dome. That meant he was turned toward the jury. He was talking to them in a very conversational tone, very few notes, if any. I don't think he had any notes at all. And he spoke for about 2 hours. That's a long time to speak. Now, again, he does have a personal relationship with Young Thug that spans over a decade. So he didn't get Young Thug's background for this trial. He's been a part of Young Thug's family, so to speak, for over 10 years. So a lot of this stuff he knew, but the specifics with regards to this trial, he was able to see. Hold on. Hey, I'm doing my live. It started at 6:05 on the Young Truck. Okay, bye. So that was very impressive to watch someone speak for that long and just know all of the facts. And it really makes a difference when you have notes versus when you don't. Just like when I do a YouTube video, I have never been a scripted YouTuber because I find that it restricts me. It makes me like a straw man, and it doesn't make me connect with my audience. So a lot of times I might have bullet points, but I don't have an actual script, right? And you can tell when somebody is scripted versus unscripted. When somebody's unscripted, there's fewer like pieces of dead space. So with some of these other attorneys that had notes, you would see them trying to find their place and where they left off and make sure they didn't lose anything, miss anything. That's okay. That's okay, but it breaks the human connection. Okay, so with Steele, it was quite impressive that he didn't have that reliance on anything but himself. And there were definitely spots where I'm laughing at myself. There were definitely spots where Steele was I'll say a little comical. And I know that's definitely not what he meant, but when Steele said, y'all, that thugs stood for, oh, 1 second. When Steele said that thug stood for what he said? Truly humble under God. Come on, man. Everybody was commenting like, really, bruh? For real? Really, bruh? That's what we're doing. And it got even more comical when he said the YSL stand for Yves Saint Laurent. I mean, he was putting together the pieces of the puzzle now because he said, Jeffrey, remember, he's going to use the name Jeffrey for Young Thug because if you don't want a jury, you want to disassociate Jeffrey from Young Thug. And you know what's really interesting about this? It goes back to that strawman concept. Okay, you might not have a rap name, but you have a straw man name, your all caps name. And when you go to court, you need to separate yourself from your straw man. Now, you need to know how to do that. And that's a video for a whole nother day. That's actually a series of videos and books and lessons that you need to learn. But all of us have another version of ourselves. Okay, so it might not be a name as distinct as Young Thug, but trust me, there's another version of you that the court is really speaking to that you don't want them to speak to. It's the same thing what Steele was doing here, right? Kind of sort of the same thing. So he refers to him as Jeffrey, and he was saying Jeffrey grew up poor. He what he said, Young Thug has 10 siblings or something, and they only stayed in a 2-bedroom apartment. And he was talking about how they didn't have money for food, and Jeffrey has rotten teeth, and he didn't have clothes, so he had to wear his brother and sister's clothes. This was very interesting when he said that in the opening statement. He grew up wearing his brother's and his sister's clothes. And it speaks to, if you guys know, like Young Thug has worn dresses and been really out there with his fashion, honey, okay? So when Steele said that, at first I'm like, oh, okay, he's explaining why Jeffrey where Young Thug wears dresses. But later on, he was saying that, YSL it's not like some gangster thing. Jeffrey was wearing women's pants, and there's a brand named Yves Saint Laurent, And I was like, oh, that's slick right there. I see what you did there. I see what you did. It's slick. We still ain't falling for it, but it's slick. Right? Yeah, okay, you did. In the Wind, Williams said she was rapping. Did you see it? If you can't, she was putting it out there, because when what's his name, when Steele was talking about the lyrics, he was editing himself, he was censoring himself. Of course he didn't say the N-word, right? He didn't say that at all, but Love was letting them have it. She was like, I was like, okay, you laughing at me, Williams? Yes. She said, you were the first person that I've ever heard talk about the straw man. And it's a topic that I don't like to talk about, because a lot of people conflate issues and lie about the straw man and really gas up people's head. It is a very sensitive subject. The minute you ever say straw man in court, you're going to be looked as a person who needs to be admitted in a psych ward. But they understand the concept, but they'll never let you know that they understand the concept. So you've got to be very skilled, well-versed, and really master language and vocabulary to let them know that you know, without raising any red flags to the public, because that's when they get real pissed. When you say something that makes people be like, wait a minute, what's she talking about? Then the players in this play, they gonna let you have it. So yeah. Come on, computer. She said, I've got to go back and look. All right, okay, I do not want to get off topic. Okay, as far as I can tell, you guys can still hear me. I don't want to get off topic. My computer is frozen. I'm waiting for it to catch up again. But stay focused. I do see a comment here. You said, so as far as you have watched, have these straw man concepts been seen? And I'm going to think that when you say been seen, I'm going to interpret that as, have they been successful? Here's the deal with the straw man concepts. Of course, if you ever say straw man, they're going to call you a sovereign citizen, which is an oxymoron. The minute you're called a sovereign citizen, just know they about to try to wax that brass. Okay? Now, a lot of times people will say, I want to see proof. I want to see proof. I want to see proof. Guys, let me tell you this. You will not see proof, because it will never get to that point. Once you put them on notice about this type of stuff, and I don't want to go too far from the case, but once I'm just going to say this because it's an important question that I feel should be addressed, right? So, and Wendy said, I keep wanting to say Wendy Williams, but you say In the Wind Williams. I'm going to read the book you recommended. Yeah, if you go to my hellocamille.com, and then there's my Amazon storefront right there. I have all my legal books pinned to the top, and you can buy the book there. Please, and other books that I'm reading that will really put you on game. But going back to what Stay Focused asked, you won't really see proof of this, because what's usually going to happen, once you put them on notice that you kind of know something, but you have to do it. This is a game of chess, not checkers. So you have to do it in a way that alerts them, but not the public, meaning the audience. Remember, this is a play. So the other people who are waiting for their case to be heard, because when you go to court, it's not like you go privately. It's on display. This is public information. So the other people who are waiting there, if you say anything to raise their awareness, like, wait a minute. Like, you're not going to walk in there and be like, hey, I have a right to this, and the Constitution says this, and I know you're trying to get my straw man, judge. And they'd be like, dang, you got me. You're right. Case dismissed. Because think about it, if that happened, then everybody would chase you out of court and be like, hey, what did you just do? What happened? So you have to know enough vocabulary and how to conduct yourself in a manner that lets the people on stage know, the bailiff, the clerk, the judge, the lawyer know that you know what's really going on, but does not alert the audience. It's just like if you want to play and something goes wrong backstage, or your shoes don't fit, you don't come out on stage just limping, and then the audience like, what's going on? If you forgot your lines, you just kind of go with the flow, right? And then the other players play off of you winging it, but you don't. The audience will be like, we never know you messed up. That's how it's got to be in court. So here's my point. If you can successfully do that, let the other characters in the play know that you know what's really going on, then they will back off and they will usually dismiss your case. So, because they don't ever want it to be on the record. They do things like, and this has happened with people that I personally know. You can go in and talk that talk and say certain things, and then they can say, you know what? We're going to see you after we see everybody else. That's what they'll basically do. They will see everybody else. Everybody will come up in a little assembly line and be like, Your Honor, guilty, Your Honor, nolo, Your Honor. And everybody else is just trying to get out of there, right? So they're going fast. And then you will be last. You know why? Because they don't want no witnesses. They don't want no witnesses. And then what will usually happen is, Kasan, will you please go cut my phone off? That alarm? And then what will usually happen is, like I said, your case will be dismissed. And there have been very rare instances where somebody snuck a phone in. And I have, yes, seen this play out. But will you get any proof of it? No. Oftentimes the people who are successful at it, they operate privately. They're not out here teaching this stuff and selling ebooks and courses and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with it. But I want you to think about this. If you knew your rights so well that you really didn't have to worry about nothing, would you worry about the hassle of a whole bunch of people harassing you to show them how to do it too, when you already know that most people aren't built for this? No, you wouldn't. So a lot of times these people, and like I said, I have met people who have proof of where they have been successful at some things that will blow your doors off. But they live quiet lives. They keep to themselves. They don't bother nobody, and they don't want to be bothered. And the court system definitely doesn't put them on display. What they would rather do is put everybody who comes in talking about the straw man, they would rather make a fool of you and put that on display so that people can say, oh, that doesn't work. That stuff is a scam. It's a fraud. I saw this guy on YouTube get put in jail because da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You see what I'm saying? That's how they keep the people sheeple. All right? All right. Oh, it is Wendy Williams. Oh, okay. Thank you for this info. Carry on. All right, now thank you for permission. Let me go then and do just that. So, where was I at? Yeah, so when he did the lyrics, he blurted himself out, but he had some really interesting things. Like I said, he said thugs stand for truly humble under God. Come on now. Come on, still. He said Yves Saint Laurent was not Young Slime family, young Slime life. He said it was Yves Saint Laurent. And at this point, you know, SMM, which stands for Schmeck Money Schmurder, that's what a lot of them were saying. They would have SMM tattoos. And again, remember, I can't say certain things on YouTube. So SMM supposedly with YSL stood for Schmeck Money Schmurder. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Steele tried to say it stands for social media marketing. Because that's just how he's rolling right now. He got an answer for everything. And in one hand, that is what a defense attorney is supposed to do. But on the other hand, you really do have to be careful with that, because there is a certain point where jurors will look at you like, what do you think I was born last night? Like, do you think I'm a complete idiot? So you do have to be kind of careful with that. But Steele overall did a great job. There was a point where he got a little monotone and got a little boring, not gonna lie, but that's to be expected when you have so much to cover and you're talking for so long. It can get a little monotonous. All right. Anyway, going to the next person. Now, this person I actually did not hear speak, but Bruce Harvey is a very very character. He walks with a cane now, but he is a legend in these courtroom streets. He's, again, representing another co-defendant, Quamarvious, and you can see that when he makes objections, he has a certain presence and an air about him that you just can't deny or ignore. There's definitely huge respect for him in the courtroom by the other co-counsels and the judge. So I do want to go back and see, you know, maybe I just missed it in the melee of life, but I want to go back and hear his opening statement and see if he has spoken at all this week. But I just wanted to highlight him because he's a super interesting character. Let me see something here. there was actually an article. If you look up his name, there's been a few articles on him. Again, very, very interesting. Let me see here. I'm gonna close that out and go here because I want to show y'all this article on Bruce. So, and I'm going to, once this video is done, I'm going to include all of these links down below so you guys don't have to search for them. You can just go ahead and click and read to your heart's content. So this is Bruce Harvey. This is an article from 95 and it is entitled Rebel Without a Cause. Wow, there is quite the delay. Hold on one second. Okay, no, okay, I'm caught up. So it's Rebel Without a Cause. Here is his signature rat tail braid, which is very, very interesting. As you can see, he has his tattoos. Long history of being a defense lawyer. Really, really knows what he's doing. Interesting guy. Has had a lot of very interesting this is him in his younger years. He's had a lot of interesting write-ups about him that I think definitely are worth reading. Here's another article. Defender of the damned. Bruce Harvey can defend the hell out of anyone you can't prove is guilty. He brokered the deal for Eddie Lawrence, the snitch whose testimony could put Fred Tokas in the electric chair. So and this is a 94 article. Again, signature rat tail, Mr. Miyagi Samurai, no offense, braid right here. Interesting look that you don't see that often. Car with the acquit license plate. Definitely going to go back and read this. I encourage you to do so too, because I'm really intrigued by this gentleman. This is not your typical courtroom attorney. I think you would agree. His reputation definitely precedes him, and I'm just seriously intrigued. Seriously intrigued. So very, very interesting in this character in this play. Although he really has not spoken much at all, his presence in the courtroom speaks volumes. All right. So that is one of the attorneys for the co-defendant. Now, getting to who I think was kind of sort of the star of the defense team this week. This is Attorney J. I'm going to say Abbott. I don't know how you pronounce it really, but he is representing Gotti. That is one of the co-defendants. This is a gentleman. There was a little controversy, well, a little bit of conflict when he came up as well, because he wanted a podium. Now, he had notes for his opening statement, and he had arranged with the court ahead of time, can I have a podium? This is very important because how you present to the jury, how you initially connect with them, it has a lot to do with how they will perceive you later on and subsequently your client. So he wanted a podium to hide his notes, but still be close enough to the jury. We've all seen it. I don't know if you guys saw the, was it Netflix, Jamie Foxx lawyer movie lately. You want to have that connection with the jury. You want to be up close and personal with them. You want to face them. And so he had made arrangements ahead of time to have a podium. Y'all, there was literally a podium in the courtroom 2 doors over. So when it came time for him to present, he was asking the judge, can I have that podium that I asked for and was promised? The judge was like, no. And see, this is where I get into how the judge seems to be a little bit having a bone to pick with the defense, giving them a hard time, and biased toward the state, because what is the problem? And they went back and forth, not in a contentious way, but they had a verbal exchange about this podium situation for quite some time. And it's like, dang, judge, just let him go get the podium. Why would y'all say he could have it? And then it was irritating. It irritated me on behalf of him. But the judge basically said, you know, just use the witness stand. Well, that's not exactly the best, because that's what he ended up doing, but it wasn't the best, because then he had to go in the witness box, which is not as close to the jury. He had to sit his notes on that little tiny ledge in the witness box. That means they're in plain view. It's not the best look aesthetically. And also your notes are not as close to your eyes. So you're having to kind of lean down. It just, I think it kind of messed up his flow a little bit. But I'm not gonna lie, it still didn't too much because he was the most entertaining guy of everyone. I had no clue who he was before, but I definitely remember him now. Abbott is, what I remember about him is he kept talking about Krispy Kreme donuts, y'all. He must have said or made reference to Krispy Kreme donuts 6 or 7 times. It was so much so that a lot of commentators were like, man, if he doesn't get a Krispy Kreme partnership after this, that's ridiculous. And he would say things like, the prosecution has nothing on my client. They have what's in the middle of a Krispy Kreme donut. The donut hole, y'all, which means nothing. Or he would say something like, this argument is not even, and I'm just trying to remember it off the top of my head, but he would say something like, this argument is not good at all. It's as soft as a Krispy Kreme donut. He kept making reference to Krispy Kreme donuts. And at one point when he said something and used the Krispy Kreme donut analogy again, he had to pause and kind of chuckle to himself. It was hilarious. And I really like his charisma. He has, he's a very, very big guy physically. So he has the stature, but also the big personality to match. Super polished, nice tailored suit, which fit him like a glove, looked really, really well, because guys, a lot of your communication does have to do with how you look. That's the reason why I'm not on camera right now. I would keep the main thing the main thing. Y'all don't be like, what's going on with Kim? Had a long night, right? But anyway, he looked great. He sounded great. He was very entertaining. I also like the fact that I could follow him. He was very conversational in his opening statement. With Love, a lot of times there were so many details that I just got lost in the sauce. Even with Steele, it felt like Steele knew his stuff and he had a conversational tone, but in the minutes where it hit that monotony, it was like, wait, what? You could kind of doze off. Not with Abbott, baby. Abbott, you were thoroughly entertained. Like I said, this smile right here is an indicator. Like, he kind of looks like the kid in class, you know, they're smart, but they're also the class clown. Yeah. Abbott, he's going to give you your money's worth, okay? He's going to put on a show for you. Excuse me, somebody even commented, did you see him? He was flinging his hands so much that the button on his shirt flew off. I didn't see that. I'll have to go back to see if that actually happened. I think it probably did, but very theatrical. Everybody was saying, love the animation, love the energy, because after these two, we did need a pick me up. But before him, another person who stood out was Public Defender Angela D. Williams. Now, she is extremely interesting. She is representing Rodalius Ryan. And she is a controversial figure she's a controversial figure herself. Okay, I haven't eaten yet. She has made the news a few times, y'all, and y'all not even gonna believe this if you do not know. But there have hold on one second. Let me get this because I gotta show y'all this. Atlanta is a trip. Some people are like, is Atlanta a real place? Because the stuff that just goes on there seems unbelievable. And at times it really, really does. Hold on one second. Here we go. I want to show y'all two things on Miss Angela D. Williams. Now, she had the shortest opening statement of them all. I felt like it was 5 minutes. Homegirl was not there. She was not there for kicks and giggles. She was straight to the point. And you will see why in a minute when I share this information with you. So, and I asked you guys earlier, how many witnesses do you think the prosecution has, the state has? I didn't see anybody answer, but I'll go ahead and tell you. The state claims the state claims to have 400 witnesses, y'all. 400 witnesses. And let me tell you something. This is a problem because remember, again, the jury is the regular schmegular folks. So having 400 witnesses, on one hand, that might be the prosecution trying to send a message to the defense, like, yeah, we got racks on racks on racks on racks of evidence against you. But on the other hand, if the jury really does have to listen to 400 people testify, and trust me, you can't just get on the stand and be like, yeah, I saw him do it. All right, thank you. I'm done for the day. I can go home. I can go to work. No, you have to build up. You have to do what's called lay a foundation for why that witness is there, who they are, all this stuff before you get to like the punchline of their testimony. So that's many, many hours of them listening to people. So they better not have 400 witnesses, because that would be absolutely ridiculous. That would be mind-boggling. If you bring that many people to the stand and make the jury sit through that, they may turn on you. They just might turn on you. They might get confused, befuddled, and just be like, you know what? It's so much going on. Not guilty. Okay? So you got to be careful about that. But Angela Williams, y'all, she is actually, what do you call it? Like I said, she's a public defender. This means that the person she's representing could not afford an attorney. So the state had to assign him one. So he got Miss Angela Williams. Now, she has already been, hold on, I'm watching on another device. Okay, cool. I'm caught up now. So they have already filed a motion to have her removed from the YSL case. This was back a few months in April. She was in hot water. The GPDC has filed a motion asking that Angela Williams, who represents Rodalius Ryan, be taken off the case. They filed a motion asking her to withdraw herself from representing the case. She cited that the pay is too low. Do y'all see this? $15,000. She is getting paid for a case that could last a year. Do y'all see that? $15,000. This is her. She went to the media and was like, these people trying to pay me peanuts. I want y'all to wrap your mind around it. Can you imagine going to law school, passing the bar, becoming a public defender, sitting next to lawyers who are making tons of money? It's rumored that Steele has already made $1 million on this case. So can you imagine sitting next to those folks and you getting $15,000 a year? And on top of that, you can't take any other cases. So I want y'all to do the math on that. Okay? $15,000 divided by 12 months, right? Is what, class? That ain't nothing but $1,250 a month. Wendy Williams is laughing. You said 400 witnesses. My son thought it was 200. Well, they're trying to say that the state is really exaggerating and it's 200. But even 200 is a lot, don't you think? Because I think this week, I forget, I lost count of how many we heard from this week, but it wasn't that much. So she said $15,000. Sugar head, ain't no way. Right. So that's $1,250 a month. I would be pissed. And let me tell you how pissed Angela was, though. Angela was so pissed. It just cracked me up because I said, oh yeah, this is definitely Atlanta. When I read this, Angela was so pissed, and this was the reason why they were asking for her to be taken off the case. She was so pissed that she actually went to the media and was like, shoot, I'm getting paid so little here, I might as well start an OnlyFans. Lawyer and Rico case threatens to launch OnlyFans due to poor compensation. This was in May. She wasn't playing with y'all. She was mad. And she took it to the streets. And I don't blame her. So already, before she even spoke a word, I said, okay, this is going to be interesting. And like I said, she was one of the, she had very little to say. She came with her notes. She strutted up there and she said, I forget what she said exactly. I just remember the highlights. And one of the things that stood out for me that made me chuckle was she was like, I don't even know. She basically said a lot of these people accept the plea deals because they think about their own butts. The state really doesn't have a case. They're just grasping at straws. My client is caught up in the melee. I don't know why he's here. She said, I don't even know why I'm here. That was hilarious when she said, because she is making it known like this is some bull. Y'all screwing them and screwing me in the process. And it was funny because I was watching the lead attorney comment on this, and he said, in all my years of being a part of the legal system, this is the first time that I've heard an attorney give an opening statement and make it about them. Angela was like, I don't care though. I don't know why my client here. I don't even know why I'm here. And she was very quick. That's all I remember. She has a conversational tone though. I did like that. It did not feel like I was listening to a lawyer present, even though she had notes. It felt like I was listening to my homegirl talk and have a conversation like, what the heck is going on with this court case? So I did like that about her. But you like that in the Wendy Williams? She said, sugar, honey, ice, donuts. Right. I'm telling y'all, this was a very entertaining week. And again, leading up to this has been entertaining as well. There have been so many things. People that were standing on business, right? Co-defendants who would reject a whole bunch of plea deals, and at the last minute they accepted the plea deals. And then just to go back and watch those files of all the things that are read to them when you hear them accept, you're accepting this plea deal. And you understand what you're doing, and you're hearing these people say yes, but you can hear it in their voice that really the answer is no. These people have no clue what they're doing. One guy was like 41 years old with only a 10th grade education, and they're saying all this legal jargon that even I with a master's degree, I'm like, wait a minute, run that back. And he was just so busy saying yes, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. He was sometimes saying yes ma'am so quick, he was saying it before the woman finished asking him the question because he was just that ready just to be done with it. And this is how the legal system works. They might say things like, you're submitting this plea on your order on accord, right? And they're trying to basically say like, this is what you want. But if you really think about it, they have coerced you. When they say things like, you can take this plea deal now, and you know it's a guaranteed outcome, you're in control of it, or you can go to court in front of a jury of your peers, and who knows what happened. If you don't accept the plea deal at that time, then I have to give you the max, and all this other, like who in their right mind probably wouldn't take that, especially when your plea deal is like, yeah, we're only going to say you have to serve this much time, and based on what you've already done, it's time served. So you can go home today. And then the rest of the years, you just do on probation. You're dangling that carrot in front of their, hey, you can go home today, or you can go back to the cell. How can you really be like, yeah, they did it on their own accord? Nah. It is a trip. And I'm telling you guys, please, 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 the more you watch it, the more it will become your entertainment. And I'm not trying to say that lightly, because these are people's lives. This case really is about murders that happened, crimes that happened to real people. And so I don't want to lose sight of that. But I just think it's extremely important. At some point, you or somebody that you know is going to end up in court. And so court should not be something that we are only associated with or familiar with through Law and Order SUV. You're going to learn the most by watching real court cases play out. And again, there'll be little bits and nuggets in there too, because like at one point during this week, Brian Steele objected to something that Love said. And I can't remember the specifics, but she was saying something about an indictment, and Steele said, objection, Your Honor, and he used case law, which is basically a previous case that sets a precedent. Once a judge rules on something in a previous case, or there are certain aspects of a previous case that are entered into the record, they become basically like a guideline, a baseline for future decisions, right? Because if I'm in Georgia and another Georgia judge is looking at the laws and says, based on these laws, I determined that this person is owed this, then if someone comes along with the exact same circumstances, that if the judge, even if the judge is different, if they're using the same laws to make the determination for the exact same circumstances, the outcome should be the same, right? So that's the point of case law, to set a precedence. Well, Brian Steele was trying to bring case law in his objection, and the judge said, this is not the same scenario. Brian Steele said, yes, it is. Now, I'll give Steele that. He is not afraid to respectfully push back on this judge, because the judge does get a little about it at times, right? As judges often do. Sometimes they be feeling themselves. But Steele is nothing to play with either. So he told the judge, he said, did you read it? And the judge was like, yeah. But y'all, there was a point in there where Steele, once he said, yes, I read the case, Attorney Steele, I'm familiar with what it says. And Steele said, he made his points, because he was basically like, well, if you read it, then how do you not see that this is exactly like that? And then line item by line item, he drew the similarities. The judge got very quiet then. And this goes back to what I was telling, stay focused. When the judges are wrong, or when they know that you got them, they won't come and be like, my bad. They'll just get quiet and be like, doo, doo, doo. They'll just go on. They might ignore, they might, and you'll have to literally call them, like in the case of an objection, you'll have to say, Your Honor, for the record, could you rule on the objection for the record? Because you're never speaking to the judge directly. You're speaking to the record. You are trying to establish a record for appeal purposes. So all this stuff that's going on in this trial right now, although it does seem like the judge is biased to the prosecution, trust me, if this does not work out in Young Thug's favor, the defense has done certain things for the record, on the record, to have a good basis for an appeal. And that's what you are doing. It's not about the judge. As a matter of fact, while opening, I told y'all this, while opening statements were being given, the attorneys, all of them, were facing who? The jury. It looked like the judge was Cyber Monday shopping on the first day of the trial. The judge was back there flipping through catalogs. I don't know what he was doing. But he wasn't an attentive audience member. He was doing other things, because they're not, the judge is just the referee. He's not the audience. He's not the decision maker. He's a referee. Okay? He's just there to make sure that things go smoothly according to the rules, to give the jury the rules and things of that nature. But Steele is not afraid of the judge. She's not afraid of the judge either, because the judge does appear to automatically be on her side, but Steele is up for the challenge. And again, he's doing everything he needs to do for appellate appeal purposes. But again, I want you guys to watch for yourself, because it's very interesting when there are things that should be known. Steele is not, invincible either, despite his last name. There was a point where he was speaking with a cop, and a firearm was brought in that was put into evidence, and Steele retrieved it from the casing. It's tagged and everything, but he's holding the gun. And I'm going to put this video link down below. But at one point in the video, as Steele is in the court with this gun, okay, the judge is like, hey man, you got to hold that muzzle down, even though it's unloaded. You're making all of us nervous, especially the person that the nozzle, the what you call it, the hole that the bullet comes out is facing. And everybody kind of chuckled, but it was kind of like, whoa. And you would think that he would know that. But the judge really literally said, let me help you out here. Hold this thing correctly, player, because you got us all. It's interesting, y'all. It is so interesting. So let me go back to the comments and let me make sure that I got everything. That's basically my recap of week 1 of the Young Thug YSL trial. What do y'all think? Any thoughts? Did I encourage you to want to watch parts of it if you have not previously? Have you been watching? Oh, thank you, In the Wind Williams. She said, I appreciate your insight on this case so much. And I appreciate you for saying that. I really, really do. Stay Focused said, got you. Everything is for the record. Yes, y'all, it's for the record. And you have to make sure it gets on the record. Yes, because that is another thing that judges will do, especially if they see that you know your stuff. And some people grow weary, right? A lot of stuff is inadmissible, but you got to know your objections. And you can't just say objection. Attorney Love got caught doing that one time. She was like, objection, Your Honor. And he said, on what basis? And she was like, oh, hands flinging. She's stammering over. He was like, overruled. Because you're supposed to be like, objection, irrelevant. Objection, leading the witness. Objection, hearsay. And especially with that hearsay, there are so many times that an attorney will ask somebody to tell the court what somebody else told them. And they might rephrase it and still basically ask the same question. If you say objection, hearsay, and the judge says sustain, that means that attorney that he's sustaining your objection. Now, if he says overrule, that means, man, bump your objection. Go ahead on with your line of questioning. But if the judge sustains it, that attorney might come back and basically ask the same exact question. And you have to be willing to say objection, hearsay again. You have to be willing to say it however many times you got to say it, dang on it. And Steele is not afraid to do that. Okay? So that is good. But if you ever go in court and you're representing yourself, and, of course, it wouldn't be a big trial like this, but if you have, some other issue, a credit card company, debt collection company, or whatever the case may be, and you have a third party talking about your debt to another company that's not even in the courtroom, every dang on thing they say is hearsay, because you never contracted with them. They're not a party to anything. Everything is hearsay. So every other word and once you say objection, hearsay, what often happens, I've seen this, and I actually had it happen to me. I said objection, hearsay. The judge didn't rule. I was green at that time, and I did not call the judge on it. The judge just looked at the other attorney when I said objection, hearsay, and then she said, he's just stating the facts. I should have said objection, Your Honor. It has not been proven that those are facts yet, because that was an assumption on her end, and she's supposed to be an unbiased arbiter. But because I was green at the time and I didn't know, I was just like, and then the guy just kept talking. But she didn't officially rule on my objection. She didn't even say or overrule. She said he's just stating the facts. And that was not right. So, going to court definitely does take balls. You do have to know what you're doing. The more you're exposed to it, just like anything else in life, all of this stuff is scary. They have set it up that way. The judge is in front of you in a robe on a stage, elevated a few feet in the air. All of this is to basically coerce you, to entice you into basically falling into line and doing what they want you to do. But the more you watch this stuff and get around people, and again, you're not going to find these people on YouTube. Even if you find them on YouTube, like for myself, there are certain conversations I would never have on YouTube. There are certain things I would never say on YouTube. There are certain things that you will only hear in certain rooms, in places where people feel safe to share for a variety of reasons. Okay. But, if you make an objection, y'all, you have to get the judge to rule on it. And the judge will try not to rule over it. They will just ignore you. And sometimes you have to knock 3 times. Excuse me, Your Honor, for the record, will you please rule on the objection? Everything is for the record. And the more you do that, and the more you keep at it, respectfully, of course, trust me, they know what's up. Stay Focused said, will you be making another video for us to update on this? We need this insight. I put part 1 on here, and I definitely want to do subsequent parts. I will be watching. I'm not going to lie. It took me about 2-3 hours to prepare for this. So I don't know how much time I'll have to do it. I might be delayed. I can't make any promises as to when. But yeah, I plan on it. It definitely helps. It's also based on the interaction. If I see nobody's really that interested, then, kind of sort of what's the point? But you guys interact. Hopefully we can get some super chats in here and some shares and some views and some likes and some more subscribers. Then yes, the more interaction, the more traction I have, the more that entices me to be like, ooh, let me give the people what they want, because they clearly want it. If not, then I'm kind of just like, well, it don't matter no way. But for those of you who are here, it seems like y'all stayed on the whole entire time. In the Wind Williams, feel free to share this with your son and watch the trial with your son. Y'all, I really want all of us to get more into this legal stuff, this law stuff. Oh, and let me show y'all this before I leave. I mentioned my Amazon storefront. Let me see. As you can see, let me stop sharing my website. If you go to hellocamille.com, that's basically how you can connect with me on other social media platforms, and how you can find a lot of the references that I've used to get the knowledge that I have. Somebody's like, you should do a book club, and I've been thinking about that, but I don't want to. I won't say anything right now. But basically, this right here is hellocamille.com. Like I said, this is where you can find everything that I offer. I talk about a lot of the resources. And so when you come here, the very first link is the Amazon storefront currently. And when you click on that, it's going to take you to my Amazon store. Right now, this is what the banner looks like, the profile picture. So you know you're in the right place. Okay, this is your girl. And right here at the very, very top, I have pinned my legal books playlist. Not playlist, but my collection. There's 22 items right here. These things have really, really helped me to get a better understanding of this world that they try to keep secret from us. And this right here is the book that most of you found me with, the blue book on my balcony. I mean, the brown book on my balcony, the Black's Law Dictionary. If you haven't picked up yours, get yours. Okay. But hold on one second. This list right here. Yeah. This list right here, I like these little handy dandy go-to, like very inexpensive legal aids, but these books are very serious. Cracking the Code, Invisible Contracts. You guys need to know this stuff, and I promise you, once you understand the power of this knowledge, the reading will become entertaining to you. Somebody mentioned the Strawman book. Yes, I did a video. This is the Meet Your Strawman book. Very easy read, inexpensive book. Get the whole entire series. Read through this. We have got to, this was the other thing. The UCC, in case you do not know, that stands for Uniform Commercial Code. Y'all, all of this has to do with commerce. All of this has to do with commerce. If you go back and listen to the prosecution's opening statement, I want you to count how many times she says organization and enterprise. She doesn't say schmang. She says organization and enterprise. Everything has to do with commerce. Everything has to do with business. Everything has to do with money. You got to understand the universal commercial, the Uniform Commercial Code, because a lot of things in the law, the courtroom is really just a bank, y'all. Everything is about fines, fees, penalties, payment. And either they're going to get payment with money or they're going to get payment with your body. When they incarcerate you, that's just a more sophisticated form of slavery. Slavery is not gone. It's just transformed. It's just evolved. It's just evolved. So I want y'all to understand that. Interesting, totally sidebar fact. Do you guys know? And this is why it's so important and interesting to study oratory, etymology. I got to eat because I'm really stammering now. But etymology, oratory, and either other languages. So I speak Spanish, and the word. Do you know what the word prosecutor is in Spanish? Do you know what the word prosecutor is in Spanish? All right, I know most people don't know, but I'll just go ahead and tell you. It's fiscal. Fiscal, y'all. Fiscal. Fiscal. Fiscal is in fiscal year, as in monetary finance. When you hear fiscal, it's usually in English, it's in terms of finance, right? But prosecutor, fiscal, is el fiscal in Espanol. So that's very interesante, and that tells you something. Currently, right now, I am reading Dang, I didn't give yourself credit on here. Oh, you know what? It's on my other list, but I should put it in this list too. I will tell y'all what I'm reading right now. This book right here. Give yourself credit. Money doesn't grow on trees. And this really talks to you about the Federal Reserve Bank in 1933 and a lot of things that you need to know about. So go to my Amazon store, buy these books, and just read them one at a time. Highlight the words you don't know, look them up. They hide things right in front of our faces in the language because they know that with social media and all of us wanting to be entertained all the time, that our education is poor. I'm just going to be honest with you. Our education is poor. They're in charge of the school systems. They start teaching us stuff that doesn't matter, stuff that is wrong, packing the classrooms so that the teachers, instead of teaching, are instead dealing with behavior problems and red tape and administrative paperwork. There's not a lot of teaching going on. This is on purpose. So we've got to reset now, and we've got to self-educate. So pick up these books, start reading. Let me read the comments. Okay. Oh, I'm all caught up. All right, so that's it. I ain't got no more. Again, thank you for all the recent subscribers. We just hit 40K on the road to 50K. Like this video if you haven't done so yet. Share it, and yeah, interact with me in the comments below. Replay viewers, I love you just as much as the live viewers, but live viewers, thanks for joining, giving me the energy, interacting. Special shout out to Stay Focused and In the Wind Williams. Y'all made the time fly by, and I appreciate you greatly. Talk to you later. Bye.